Hi, welcome to Island Time Art Design. Today I'm going to show you how to finish paintings after you've used silicone oil, so stick around. Okay, we're back. So I've got a painting with a lot of oil sitting on it. This is silicone oil, treadmill silicone oil. It could be any kind of oil from, WD-40 to maybe your hair serums that have dimethicone in them. But these particular ones have silicone oil. This one doesn't have quite as much. I'm just showing you where you see a lot of glare. That's going to be the oil. So for example, right here, I don't know if that one's not picking up so much on the there it is a little bit on the camera, but this one you can see it really, really well, where it still looks very wet. That's not wet paint, that's oil. Step number 1 is wiping with a paper towel. So the first step I'm going to do with this is, because this one is so wet, I'm going to just use a paper towel and I'm going to wipe off all of that excess. Now, one thing about silicone oil, when it pools on the top, it's going to create a different dimension to the painting. You're going to see, let me see if I can show you. Right down the middle of this one, you'll see that there's different layers to it. So the oil's been removed, but there is a ridge there, and that is natural with doing that. The oil in your materials, and that is just part of how to get the effects of the cells. So each of these large areas were made with the oil, and those are called cells. Step number 2 is going to be using cornstarch. So I use a liberal amount of cornstarch, and it doesn't hurt the paint at all. The paint is already dry. It's been dry for These paintings have been dry for 2 weeks. So once I get cornstarch, I'm going to, just with my hands, get it over the entire surface, but especially on the areas that had a lot of oil. Go around it enough times, it's going to start coming up, it kind of balling up a little bit. You'll feel that there's areas that are kind of wet to the touch. That's why I don't use gloved hands. I use my hands because I want to feel where it's still oily. Right now I'm just trying to get most of the cornstarch to come off by making it fall onto the desk, the work surface. Is to use a paper towel to get the most cornstarch off that you can. Use a house paintbrush or any small artist paintbrush, and we're going to get into every crack and crevice and get the cornstarch out. So why are we doing this? We're doing this because the surface needs to be clean before we do the varnish. And if there's oil sitting on top, the varnish isn't going to stick to your painting, and then you're going to have a spot that it doesn't have the shine from the varnish. But that's step 4, is rubbing alcohol on a paper towel, just a little bit of this over the surface. I'll take a paper towel and I'll go over that with rubbing alcohol. This is isopropyl alcohol 99%, but you can buy it for 80% or 91% in the drugstore. This I happen to have to get online to get the 99%. Okay, so I have just a small amount of rubbing alcohol. And I go over it very lightly and very quickly. And you'll see there's not a lot of paint that comes off. That's my finger showing through, but there's not a lot of paint that's coming off of this painting. See, there's a little bit of red, just a little bit, but you're not going to be ruining your painting. You just have to use a little bit of the alcohol. And more of that paint came off, the purple color. But it's not noticeable. It's just a very top layer of paint. It did not affect my painting in any way. It did not take the shine off the paint. It's very shiny. This is called Saks Heavy Body Paint. So there's a really good shine to it already, even without any finish. And that shine is not from oil, that's from just the paint. So after I finish cleaning with the rubbing alcohol, the next step is going to be to varnish. But I'm going to let these sit for about a day before I do the varnish so that the alcohol doesn't combine with the varnish and create a negative effect. Right now I can feel there's a little bit of wetness from the alcohol, even though it's supposed to, evaporate right away. I want to make sure that that paint is completely dry after using the alcohol, and we'll come back in a day and I'll finish these up. Okay, step 5, you're going to want to sign your painting. I have a marker here that is called Sakura Micro Perm, and this is a 0.5 for thickness, and it is an artist marker, and I'll put a link in the comments below for a similar type marker. I found this to work good for putting my initials, my signature on acrylic paint after it's been dried and cleaned and ready to go for the varnish. So that is your step 5. And step 6 is to varnish. Now I use this Rust-Oleum. It's called Rust-Oleum Universal Clear Durable Top Coat. The reason I use this is because it's UV protectant. So the other ones that I've seen in the hardware stores have said top coat or outdoor use or something like that. I didn't always see UV protection, so I like this one. This is a high gloss, and it comes out looking, after just three passes over it, it looks like a really nice, shiny look to it. It is a high gloss. This is what the painting looks like before I gloss it. So I'm just going to try to show you how it shimmers just on its own. This is with Saks paint. You can see that shimmer going across the front of it. So that's how much sheen we have without varnish. So I like to finish these off with some varnish. That way it protects it. Like I said, it's got the UV protectant. It also should have a longer archival time because it shouldn't degrade due to sunlight and things like that. So what I do with the protectant is I shake it up really, really good, and then I'm going to start off the side of the painting and go over it, and then off the side and go over it. That way it's a nice clear path all the way down to the bottom, and I'm also going to do the bottom edge the same way. Alright, here we go. We're going to start off left, go to the right, start off the right, go to the left. And also, I'm going to do 3 coats all at once. 1 coat, 2 coats, 3 coats. And I'm going to try to shake between each coat so that it stays in its condition that it needs to be in. I typically would wear gloves, but I forgot. So I will wash my hands very good when I'm done with this. Second coat. I'm shaking it up to do my second coat. Again, I'm going to start off of the canvas and go all the way across without stopping in the middle. One last shake. And there you have it. And this is how easy it is to do a finish coat for acrylic pour painting. I don't have to do resin. I can just put this on. It's protectant. It'll be shiny when it's dry. I'll show you the final result after it's dried for a day. Okay, and here are our two paintings with the 3 coats of varnish, and they've been drying for 24 hours, and now I can touch them. They're not sticky, and I'm going to show you the sheen that 3 coats of this varnish have. If you can look in this corner here, you can see that's the sunlight, and it's very shiny. This is a high gloss varnish, very shiny, very beautiful. And I just am trying to compare the varnish to what it was like when it was just dry paint. I'll show you on this one. It's a very strong sheen going on there. So I hope you can see that. And then from further away you can see how brilliant the colors are. So if you learned anything from this video, please give me a thumbs up below. And if you would like to see more of these videos, there'll be a subscribe button right about here. And if you want to just click that, you won't miss another episode. Thanks for coming. We'll see you next time on Island Time Art Design. If you would like to see how I made this painting, click this link. If you'd like to see how I made this painting, click this link.